So our next lesson is geography. Who can tell me which country we're talking about today?
Tanzania.
Yes, Laszlo, thank you very much. Extra homework this afternoon. Anybody else?
Norway.
Norway, very close. At least we're in Europe. Come on, we looked at this last week. Bulgaria. Greta, you remember this one? Slovakia. So, any more, or we'll stay here. It's going to be a very long day.
Romania.
No,
Maybe
very
Hungary.
good. It's, yes, Hungary. Now, remember that for next time.
Oh, it's between Slovakia.
It was
and
Hungary.
Romania.
Yes, between Slovakia, Romania, Austria, right in the middle of Europe. So let's see what you know about Hungary. Who can tell me who this is? Come on, Neil.
Looks like Donald Trump.
The hair looks similar, yes. Yes, I don't know whether Mr. Trump would have ever worn a football shirt like that. So, come on, Hungarian footballers. Who do we know? Puskás, very good. Now we're getting better. Ferenc Puskás, maybe Hungary's greatest ever footballer. Let's try again, see what else we know. Now here's one, I'm sure you all know this. Gulyás, yes. Hungarian goulash. No, gulyás leves. This is a bit more interesting. Was 10%, now 9%. Any ideas? What could this be?
Sale in Media Market.
Sale in Media Market, yes. So for some of us, the less. So was 10%, now you only get 9%. Any other offers? Can anybody give? What do you think it could be? Think companies, think about
Salary?
salaries, yes, no.
No increase, 9%.
No.
We wanted 10,
10,
but
but only 9.
we'll accept 9.
You accept.
Anything else? So what could it be? What do all companies have to pay? Tax, yes. So the rate of corporate tax in Hungary is only 9%. That's reduced from last year. The government changed their minds and they've reduced it from 10% to 9%. Let's go and see what else we know. Oh, I'm sure you all recognize this. So I'm sure you've all played with these, but who was it? What was his name?
Rubik and
Yes, Mr. Rubik and his famous cube. Let's get back to taxation. Here we have a list of all the rates of corporate tax in all of the nations in the European Union. And you can see now Hungary is on its own at the bottom with 9%, the lowest rate of tax in the EU. So let's have a look at the types of company which we can form in Hungary. The type of company which we form most often is the KFT. It's a limited liability company. Basically, it's based on the German GmbH model. So if we have a look at the registration process, so how we form a company over here. Firstly, the owners and the director have to sign the formation documents in front of a lawyer. So to form a Hungarian company, it has to be done by a lawyer. It's the lawyer who has to file the documents. Then the lawyer submits the papers electronically, and the whole process takes approximately 1 week. The capital. Nobody shout Budapest. No. It's not that capital. The money behind the company. In order to form a KFT, a limited liability company, you have to have a capital of 3 million forints, and this has to be paid up. 3 million forints is approximately 10,000 euros. And I say this has to be paid up. So when you form the company, you have to pay up the initial capital. If we look at the ownership of the company, as I mentioned, it's basically the same model as the German GmbH. So this means that we don't have shareholders, but the ownership is set down in the memorandum and articles of the company. We don't issue share certificates. Corporate owners are allowed. This is very important because it means that you can also place a foreign company as the owner of the company. This could be interesting when you're thinking about paying out dividends. The directors. Naturally, the company has to have at least one director. And these directors should be private individuals. So we don't normally have corporate directors in limited liability companies in Hungary. But there's no restriction on their nationality. So anybody can be the director. Maybe if you have clients, if your client, if they want to be the director themselves, that's not a problem. And as I say, there are only very special circumstances when corporate directors can be allowed. The registered office. So as with all companies around the world, it's necessary to have a registered office, but Lavaco can provide that, and there are various ways that we can provide the office. We can also provide you with a virtual office. We have our own co-working set up, so you can actually have a desk here. And say every company must have a registered office. The other thing that every company must have is a bank account. For Hungarian companies, it is obligatory to set up at least one bank account in Hungary. And this should be done within 15 days of registration. In order to set up the bank account, when the client or the person who's going to be the signatory, they must come to the bank and actually sign the banking contract in the bank in person. Another interesting point is that although it is required to have one bank account, at least one bank account in Hungary, the companies can set up bank accounts anywhere else around the world. As with all registered companies over here, it is necessary for the company to file accounts, and this must be done by a qualified accountant. All new companies have to register immediately with the tax authority. Then the accounts must be filed annually, and this must be done by a qualified accountant. When the company registers, they must also register for VAT. But at the same time, they can also apply for an EU VAT number. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Auditing. The auditing side for Hungarian companies is actually quite good over here, because it's not necessary for the majority of limited liability companies to have their accounts audited. In fact, there are only two circumstances where it's necessary to have the accounts audited. If the company has a turnover exceeding 300 million forints for 2 consecutive years, if you work out 300 million is about €1 million. So if the company has company turnover exceeds €1 million for 2 consecutive years, then the accounts must be audited. And the other situation is if the company has more than 50 employees. The reason we're all here now is the tax. So as I mentioned earlier, starting from 2017, Hungary will have the lowest corporate tax rate in the EU. You see here that the profits up to 500 million forints will be 9%. The reason we've left this like this is that up until now, there were 2 tiers of taxation for Hungarian companies. The first 500 million forints, which is approximately 1.6 million euros, was taxed at 10%, and any additional profit above 500 million forints was taxed at 19%. But what the government have introduced now is a standard rate of 9%, irrespective of the level of profit. So this is very advantageous for companies with a larger turnover and larger profit. Then there is also a local council tax, which is roughly 2% of profit. If we look at dividends, there's no zero tax. Dividends aren't taxed for the company, either incoming or outgoing. Intellectual property, and here there is a discount on the taxation. We're expecting it to be 5% as an approximate 50% reduction. Capital gains, again 9% on all profits. So again, originally last year the situation was the two-tier situation, but now from 2017 all capital gains will be taxed at 9%. The same applies to interest. So one rate of 9% for interest. I think if we just have a quick look at some of the advantages of Hungarian companies. So Hungary is a full member of the European Union. Very low corporate tax, the lowest as I say, in the EU now. And as I mentioned earlier, we were talking about the VAT number. Unlike in some other member states, it's very easy to obtain the EU VAT number. All you have to do really is apply for it, and it's granted pretty much automatically. Unfortunately, as with all companies, there are also one or two disadvantages, but these perhaps aren't too serious. There's the relatively high paid-up capital. Anybody remember what it was?
3 million forints.
3 million forints, very good, which is about 10,000 euros. And we also have, unfortunately, the highest standard rate of VAT in the EU. Standard rate VAT is 27%. So now that you've seen what the advantages, the disadvantages, what we can do with a company, let's see what we as a company, Lavico, what we can do to help you set up your company. So we can arrange the registration by the lawyers. We have our own in-house lawyers. So you come, sit with them and sign the papers, and then they will do the registration. We can provide you with the foreign companies which we mentioned. So these could be even offshore companies, so you can take the dividend out of the company. We can arrange for a local director in the company, so you can have, if the client doesn't want to be the director himself, we can arrange to have a local director. We provide you with a registered office, an official address. We can provide, as I mentioned, the virtual space or a real official office. We help you set up the bank account with a well-known Hungarian bank. And we help provide the accounting and, if necessary, auditing services. So in the middle of all the clouds, once you've been to Lavico, the sun will come out. Now back to the classroom. Let's see what else we can do for you. What other countries do we know about? Let's see if we can be a little bit stronger in our geography than we were with Hungary. So who can tell me what this is? I think Laszlo, this is for you. If you don't get this right, then...
I know this country. This is Cyprus.
Ah, very good. Yes. Yes. Have you been there?
Oh, yes. A few times, yeah.
There we go. Cyprus. Nice and warm at the moment compared to Hungary. Now, a very small one down there. Where could this be? Looks maybe somewhere Asian to me. Any ideas? Very good. Hong Kong. Now this one, the colours aren't too helpful, but another jurisdiction which is very popular at the moment for company formation.
Is it Dubai?
Dubai and the Emirates, yes, all of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Now, anybody who can guess this from this picture is, if you look at this, the Seychelles, yes, yes. Back to Europe, another jurisdiction in Europe with a very beneficial tax regime. Bulgaria, yes, we're getting there now. Now this one, not the UK, I'm afraid, but this is another service which we provide. We can arrange for second citizenship, passports, residency programs. Now, as with all good students, you will also have some homework to do. And your homework is to study these two websites. So there's the lavaco.com, where you can read about all the company services we provide, and the Worldwide Citizenship, where you can find out about the second passports and the residency programs. And finally, you need to complete the handout which you've all been given there and send that back to me to apply for a company. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, then please feel free to ask me now.